It's no secret that hip-hop and violence often go hand in hand. In fact, the cause of more than 50% of rapper deaths is murder. So unfortunately, every year we can expect to lose a few of our favorite artists, especially if they're gangbangers or have a criminal record. 2020 has been no different, and we've seen the loss of many of our favorite rappers in the industry. Without further ado, here are the rappers who have died in 2020. King Von. Chicago native King Von settled into stardom with his hit track Crazy Story in 2018. The video for the song currently has over 17 million views, while the remix with Lil Durk has over 40 million. The follow-up to the song with Crazy Story Part 2 has over 5 million views, and Part 3 has nearly 30 million. It's safe to say that King Von was on the fast track to fame and had already networked enough to find hot features and collaborations. Growing up in Chicago in the 1990s meant that King Von, or Davon Bennett, was right in the middle of some serious gang war. He lived most of his life in Parkway Gardens, an apartment complex located on O Block, a notorious gang hood and the inspiration for Von's third studio album, Welcome to O Block. Surrounded by gangs, it was inevitable that he was going to join up. He was only a kid when he started his affiliation with the Black Disciples, one of the most infamously violent gangs in Chicago. He spent his teenage years in and out of juvie and real jail after he turned 18. Aside from the music, he's probably most known for beating a murder charge back in 2014 after he and a friend opened fire on a couple of people at a party, killing one of them. Luckily for him, his buddy who was with him at the time took the fall, landing 28 years in prison. Von was set free without more than a slap on the wrist. But for rappers like Von, the drama and violence is all part of the game. He was back at it again in 2019 when he allegedly shot and robbed a man with fellow rapper and friend Lil Durk. According to prosecutors, the rapper shot a man and stole his Jeep and $30,000 in cash. The rapper's lawyers, though, said that the victim was trying to rob the rappers and they acted in self-defense. In the end, the man recovered, and Von and Durk were released in June on $250K and $300K bails. Since then, King Von seemed to be working on his music and staying out of trouble. The problem is, trouble found him. In the early morning of November 6, 2020, a scuffle broke out at the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. Those involved in the fight poured into the street, throwing punches. There were two groups of people, Von and his crew, mostly other Black Disciples, and a group associated with rapper Quando Rondo. What started the fight is unclear, but soon after the men were on the street, shots were fired. The surveillance video shows Von landing on the ground with another man. Soon he is helped by someone else into a car and is taken to the hospital. Off-duty cops at the club and a patrolling cop nearby attempted to stop the shootout, opening fire on the shooters. King Von was pronounced dead at the hospital. Two other men were also killed in the shooting, with several more wounded. Police weren't immediately sure who shot the rapper, but they charged 22-year-old Timothy Leaks with felony murder a couple of days later. He's currently in custody at the hospital as he recovers from gunshot wounds. Fifth Ward Weeby. Known as the Bounce King, Fifth Ward Weeby's real name was Jerome Cozy. He had been a key player in New Orleans hip-hop starting in the 90s. While he's mostly a local southern rapper, he still had quite a few hits and collaborated with other well-known artists. His biggest tracks include Let Me Find Out and the local hit F Katrina. At only 42 years old, Weeb's death was early and unexpected, but unlike most rapper deaths, it wasn't due to violence. Instead, in an unfortunate event, Weeby passed away from surgical complications on a ruptured artery. He passed on January 9, 2020, and was mourned by fans and artists alike. Snoop Dogg, Lil Wayne, and others came out to give their condolences, but it wasn't just industry people who felt the loss. Even the mayor of New Orleans, LaToya Cantrell, posted on Instagram saying he was an iconic personality, a New Orleans legend, and a beloved friend. He was the Bounce King who showed us how to move, how to love, and how to bring passion and humanity to everything we do. New Orleans has lost a cornerstone of our culture. Our city will not be the same without his voice and spirit. He was also called a legend gone far too soon and a cultural figure who embodied the city of New Orleans in a statement from Louisiana Representative Cedric Richmond. Huey. Huey had a pretty fast intro to the music world when he put out the hit single Pop, Lock, and Drop It in 2006. It was one of the biggest songs of the early 2000s, and it didn't take long before it rocked the Billboard Hot 100 at number 6. In 2013, Huey signed with Waka Flocka Flame's record label Brick Squad Monopoly, but never released an album with them. In fact, he had all but disappeared from the industry for quite a few years until news of his death broke earlier this year. On June 26, news outlets revealed that St. Louis rapper had been killed in a double shooting near his hometown. Police were notified of his arrival at the hospital as a victim of a shooting, but since he died almost on arrival, they could not question him about the shooting. Because of that, cops simply don't know what happened. According to authorities, detectives believe as many as 10 other individuals were present in and around the crime scene during the occurrence of this incident. Another victim involved in the shooting showed up at the police station where he was taken to a hospital in stable condition. So far, police have no leads, have not made any arrests, and are looking for any eyewitnesses to help them figure out who shot Huey. Big Buddha. 24-year-old Donnell Hodges, aka Big Buddha, was a local favorite in the Washington, D.C. hip-hop arena. While he hadn't made it to the mainstream industry, he was well on his way. With 4 mixtapes to his name, the latest released at the end of 2019, Big Buddha was not short on ideas for his songs. A friend of his said the rapper was desperate to move on from the way of life he had and that he truly wanted to get his life right and leave the area. News of his death broke out early on February 2nd, 2020. According to police, Buddha had been sitting in the car the night before, parked on the 3800 block of Minnesota Avenue northeast in D.C. Police rode through and found the rapper suffering from several gunshot wounds, basically bleeding out in the parked car. He was rushed to a nearby hospital but died just after arriving. His business partner posted on social media that Buddha's death had made him lose faith in D.C. He said, "At one point of time, I used to be proud to say I was from SCDC. I no longer am. I have been blessed to survive and punished at the time to watch one single area and also a city rob me of 90% of the people I grew up with and loved." Other DC locals felt the pain as well, especially the 1-year-old child the rapper leaves behind. Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke was one of the most missed rappers that we've lost in 2020. He was potentially one of the most talented rappers to come out in recent years, so his death in February was a significant hit. The rapper had come into fame with his first mixtape, Meet the Woo, in April 2019. His single Welcome to the Party made him an instant favorite for many hip-hop fans and even other artists. Like other rappers, he took on topics like sex, violence, and drugs, but his beats were something new. When Nicki Minaj got her hands on his single and started remixing, he was launched even further into fame. He didn't let up with that first bit of attention either. He kept putting out more music like NPR, Flexin', and Dior. Throughout the rest of 2019, Pop put his head down to get more music ready, and by February 2020, he released the mixtape, Meet the Woo 2. Featured on the album were artists like Quavo, Lil TJ, and 5EO Foreign. A deluxe edition of the tape was released a week later with 3 new songs added. The mixtape didn't come out a second too soon. Just 2 weeks after its release, Pop Smoke was suddenly gone. In the early morning of February 19, 2020, the rapper was shot to death in his own home. The circumstances are sketchy, with him being killed by a few opportunistic thieves. See, the day before he was killed, Pop Smoke posted a few photos on Instagram. The first one was of gift bags that he had received, and it clearly showed his personal address on the tag. A few hours later, he posted another shot to Instagram, this time of himself and a friend sitting in the car in his driveway, holding up stacks of cash. Those unfortunate Instagram photos led the robbers directly to his house, and they showed off the stuff they could steal once they got inside. At about 4 in the morning, 4 men entered Pop's home. There were several people in the house, but the men found the rapper alone as they looked for jewelry and cash. They fired several times at him before fleeing the home. Someone in the house heard the shots, ran down and called 911. An ambulance rushed him to the hospital, but he was announced dead on arrival. 4 suspects have been arrested and charged with murder for Pop Smoke's death, all of them teenagers. One man, 21-year-old Jaquan Murphy, was charged with attempted murder for his role in the situation, though he wasn't inside the house. The men are held on $1 million bails as they await trial.